Okay, promise again. First, let's do a little bit of review. Promise instance methods. So this is P1, P1 resolve. This is then method, right? So we can also do reject, P1 reject, on code, right? We define the error handler here, error. P1 reject, right? This is the method. If we can just set this resolve handler as null, P1 reject. We can also do P1 then race. And the chaining, chain the catch after the method. It is equal to null error handler, right? Null comma error handler. So P rejected, right? Yeah, this is this instance method we have learned yesterday. Today we're gonna talk about promise static method. First, promise or resolve. Create a promise object with resolve state, right? So first we can create a resolve object with values. So P2, not new, not a constructor, because this is static method, right? This is P2. You can also create a promise with array of P3 then res 0. res 0 1, right? You can also create with a promise. So that original to promise resolve this is original cast promise resolve original. So original strictly equal to cast. Ready? Original 29 true, right? So you create a new promise object with the value, which the value is which value is also a promise object. Finally, it is strictly equal. Okay. So promise reject. So create promise object with error message. Okay. P4 list check fill catch. Fill. Right. So there are two other static methods, which is promise all promise race. Return if all promise completed. Our promise finished. So what does this mean? So let's do P5 new promise. So this is P5. Six, 7. So we have 3 promise objects, right? Promise all check if all the 3 promise objects finally resolved. So promise all. This method, this API accept only an array. So P4, P5. The array of promise instances. So then rest. So before is, oh, sorry, P7. So you can say the value of race parameter is the message passed from resolve instance, right? This is P5, P6, P7. So this race is these messages, right? So suppose there is one promise object, is this state is reject. So you can see it here. There is error right here. This is P6, right? So let's handle this. This is P6, right? So suppose there are two in this array. There are two objects have failed. This is P Liu. This is P6 again. So you can say Liu is Chinese, I'm sorry. So yeah, P6. So it seems like it only returned, this error handler only returned the first failed error message, right? It's because P6 is rejected and P7 is rejected as well, but only this message has been returned, right? So the first field has been returned to the error message, and the second or others will be ignored, right? So how would we prove that? So let's set a timeout function, and we set is 2 seconds, which means this gonna be finished after this, because we set time here as 1 second. P7 1 second. All right, this is P7. So only return the first failed error message. If the all resolved, yeah, as you can see here, right? Okay. So what does promise race check? If one of those promises completed, finished, completed. What does that mean? So let's do promise race P5, P6, P7, then and we do our race. This is P5. This is P5. So if it succeed, whether it succeed or not, it will return the first resolved message. All right. So let's do. Um, 3 seconds. So now P7 is the first in the queue, right? So this is P7. All right. So as long there is one promises in the array has completed, has resolved, the message will return. What about they are all rejected? 5 rejected, 6 rejected, 7 rejected. Okay. 72, right? So this is P7, right? So it only returned the first error message, right? So it's pretty similar to promise.all, right? Okay, so use cases. So probably you ask, so what the use case of this two like promise all and promise race? I think it's very useful because first promise all. Imagine there is a scenario, so promise all check if all images have uploaded successfully. So imagine there is image array 1.jpt, right? Okay, 3.jpt 2, right? So there is a promise array which is empty. So we traverse this and we upload this picture to the server. Imagine there's a scenario, right? So upload operation, and we upload this picture. So after that we can turn new promise reject. So if it is successful, we call resolve, right? We pass atom inside. After this, okay, so if it succeed, we call resolve, right? After this, we use promise.all and we new promise. We can just give it a temp new promise, and every time we succeed, we just pass this promise to the promise array. Okay, so in this part we pass the promise array because this is promise.all, so it will check this array if all these promises have been resolved. If there is one failed, it will just give you the error message, right? If it all resolved, it will return that it will return this. So you can see, right? Because we passed the item to resolve, and finally it is we passed it here. So right here we can just do some other operations. Do insert URL of images to databases, right? So this is a very useful, like in scenario, right? For promise.all to check if all the images have been successfully uploaded. So how about promise.race? This is more useful. So check if image loading time out. So imagine, so there is a function called get image. So we get image. We get image. Let's do that image, new image, and image.onload loading images. If it is successfully loaded, so you should call resolve, right? So image rc so this URL is not existed, right? So this is a non-existing URL, so it should be filled, right? So now time out, set timeout. So suppose we set up 2 seconds here. Now we can use promise.race. We give it an array. The first parameter of this array is get image, and the second is timeout. What does this mean? So whichever will be called first, it will just print out the message, right? So if the image has been resolved successfully within 2 seconds, so it will just be resolved, or it will be just time out, right? Of course, we need a new promise here, because it only accept array in the a promise in this array. So promise solve reject, right? Same thing here. New promise solve reject. So if there's one has been finished, then we should print race or error message. So what should be the message? Result should be all images uploaded successfully, or result reject is time out. Timeout, right? So now let's change to another. We copied the URL of Google logo. So yeah, all images uploaded successfully, right? So yes, of course, promise.all or promise.race can be used in some other use cases. We can talk about this later. This is the promise plus. Well, yesterday we talked about how we use instance method of a promise object, promise class, and we use it to solve the callback hill. And today we talk about some static method so that we can create an object instance quickly with a specified state. Okay, this is pretty much today.